The Colorado Symphony considered many works by American authors as it set out to create a new work for both orchestra and chorus. Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, with its sweeping and dramatic nature, ultimately resonated the loudest. The poem's 18 stanzas have been transformed into a 187-page score, about 40 minutes in performance, which we captured at Boettcher Concert Hall.
There's humor, there's sadness, there are so many different human emotions, everything from nostalgia of remembering this beautiful lady that he was in love with, to absolute madness, almost violent madness, where he's screaming at the bird or screaming at himself. It's really wonderful to me to create something that's not simple, that really pushes the audience to think about what they're hearing, and that pushes the audience into areas that they've not heard before. I've always been very interested in the works of Poe since I was a little kid. The first things I read, of course, were the really scary, spooky things. I was about 12 or 13, and I thought, oh, this is really cool stuff. But then, of course, we get older and hopefully a little smarter or a little more mature. And I discovered things like The Raven or the poem The Bells have such a depth of meaning. There's so much in The Raven that's not just in the words. The poem's not really about a bird. It's about human loss and all the emotions that go with human loss. So I guess I start with the words, but not just the meaning of the words, the sound of the words. How does it sound to say, once upon a midnight dreary? I mean, that's music right there. It's very musical the way the words are written. I'm 61 years old. I've been composing since I was about 11. And the most important thing to me is I've created things that musicians seem to really love to play, and so far audiences have really seemed to love to hear. The piece is written exactly in Poe's order, and the chorus sings the words without alteration. I love the Poe so much I would not in any way even consider altering it. So the music follows the emotion of the poem very much. It starts very eerie, very abstract, spacey music, because in my reading of the poem, it's almost like the guy is having a dream, or that he's just not all there. The writing I've done on this piece for the chorus is fiendishly difficult. The musical language is very, very modern. It actually encompasses everything from Gregorian chant from, 1,000 years ago to the most modern techniques, and it's very, very demanding and tricky for the chorus. One of the chorus members came up and said, well, we're working really, really hard on The Raven, and it's probably the hardest thing we've ever done. But everybody's really interested. They love the sounds. And so the chorus has progressed from nevermore to maybe. When I first compose, I work from a sketchbook. I'm a really old-fashioned composer. I don't use the computer. I don't use the playback. I imagine the sounds in my head, and I work at the piano. I tend to think of the whole orchestra. I know what every instrument can do and what they can't do, which is almost more important. And different places in the music, I will use different instruments to depict a similar idea or a similar emotion. But it's more thinking of the motivic ideas and how that works with the poem. And I've done that throughout The Raven. I've written many, many pieces for the Colorado Symphony. The musicians have been very, very supportive, partially because I play in the orchestra, and generally I get a really excellent reaction from the musicians. So I think in many ways it's fun for them to do something new and different. I'm not one of those composers that thinks or proudly says, oh, well, nobody understands my genius yet, but in 200 years, people are going to think I was great. I want to communicate right now with the audience. To me, any piece of art, and certainly because music is my area of expertise, should challenge our intellect and it should reward our hearts. It should inspire people. It should give people something to take away from the concert hall. And if we don't provide people with something thought-provoking, something interesting, something that gives their life a better meaning, then to me we've failed.